Hey.
What's up, Adubz?
Hey, not too much. How you doing, Koty?
What's up, bro? I always start with a handshake. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
why not?
So what's going on, man?
Common greetings. You know, just chilling in my flat right now, and I'm glad that you're here.
Yo, thanks for inviting me over, dude.
We're gonna have you on my thing, which we'll talk about later.
Some hair sticking up at the back.
I got some hair sticking up the back. I don't know if there's any winning that war, to be honest.
It looks good, dude. Honestly,
rooster head.
It kind of looks like it was on purpose.
Ironically.
But yeah, man, thanks for having me over, dude.
Yeah.
When I saw you at that hip hop show,
yeah,
and you're like, "Yo, dude, that's what you're getting into.
Yeah,
that you have a radio show.
I have a radio show,
and you're gonna interview me on it. After
yes,
we're done here.
absolutely. That's exactly what's gonna happen.
I'm excited about
Canadian. Broadcasting through the facilities of Trent Radio 92.7, CFFM, Peterborough, Nogo-Jawinong, Ontario, Canada, at the corner of George and Park Hills, and at trentradio.ca.
I'm so glad you memorized that, because there's no way I wouldn't have been able to remember that at all. I do have some things here that I want to get to.
Okay.
So when we do yours,
yeah,
you're kind of going to interview me,
yeah,
and talk about stuff that maybe your viewers don't know about me.
Absolutely.
My viewers might, but I want them to tune into yours, as well. And this will be more of well, not only a conversation, but just me getting to know you a little, me getting to know Adubz.
Yeah.
You showed me some of your early on music videos.
Yes.
Tire.
Thank you.
Thank
you very
North
much.
End boys.
Yeah, North Style Wild Child, North End, some lads hanging out in the North End, throwback to 1999. But that video was done in 2011, and then the second video was Aiden and the Betting 2021, 10 years later.
Yeah, that one was. Oh yeah, what did I call it? Yacht rap. You heard of yacht rock? This guy makes yacht rap. For real. But yo, I saw you at that hip hop show. You're like, yo, I have a radio show.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I have a podcast. But I got a little interview with you there. And it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And you were like, dude. I love that part. I keep editing it in, like the teaser and stuff like that. It's the best.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So what brought you to that hip hop show?
What brought me to that hip hop show? I was walking by and I saw you.
I
recognized you.
You were just walking by, and
I was I was walking by.
Nice, man.
I work at the restaurant near there, and I just kind of got sidetracked. I actually walked up the street and I saw a homeless man, and I was talking to this homeless man.
It turned out to be me.
No, no, I took the homeless man for waffles, like out of nowhere. Like I don't like.
You took him?
I took him
like
for
a date.
Waffles. Yes, we went on a date, and I got the dude waffles, and he was a cool guy. And then I said, like, man, good luck, and I bought him a couple bottles of water, and then
he stabbed you.
He stabbed me and took everything I owned, and we're here now.
No, yeah, we're ending the stigma of homeless people stabbing people.
He was a solid guy.
They're nice.
Very solid guy. And then I got up to the former bar 379. And I recognized your face, and I think you had your mic gear out.
Yeah.
I was like, holy crap, it's Koty Kolter.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah.
So you've been rapping in Peterborough for so long.
For a time, yeah.
And I've never heard of your raps.
No.
I never heard you rap. Sorry, I'm just going to sit back.
Well, let's lounge.
Yeah, should we lounge? I thought it'd be a little bit.
There we go.
Yeah, so I've never heard you rap. I never heard your.
So my rapping.
You were all the way in the North End. I was more downtown.
You were downtown. You're a downtown guy. I started out in the North End in high school. Really got into Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five when I was a teenager.
Okay.
So around the millennium, to date myself, and basically
I dated
a
homeless guy. So.
And so I saw the message on the 100 greatest music videos of the 20th century on Much Music, and I was like, I love this. And I just got into it, and I started freestyling and writing bars and stuff like that. And,
I probably should know this, but who's Grandmaster Flash? I don't even know who that is.
No. Grandmaster Flash,
if we start getting into hip-hop talk, dude, and you start bringing up all these... Bro, do you know what my era is? My era is 50 Cent, D12, Eminem, Obi Trice.
Yeah.
That's my era.
Okay.
I directly went from Limp Bizkit Rage Against the Machine, Korn, directly into Eminem.
Yeah.
Which then...
So rap metal and then into Eminem and then on.
Yeah. I was actually in a couple of rap metal cover bands and stuff like that.
Cool. Were you the spit in those? Yeah. Okay, solid.
Yeah, I was doing so. Yeah, we did a POD cover. We did Rage Against the Machine cover, Limp Bizkit covers.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, so Grandmaster Flash is one of the earliest DJs in hip hop.
Okay, he's a DJ, not a rapper.
Yeah, and so his MC was a guy named Melly Mel.
Dude, I'm so embarrassed that I know who Melly Mel is. I've heard that name.
Yeah, Melly Mel is known to have maybe the greatest verse in the 1980s. And that's in the song, the hook of the song you'll know. Yeah. Do you know Check Yourself Before You Wreck Yourself? Yeah. Okay, so that beat behind Check Yourself Before You Wreck Yourself is the message. Is the message by Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5. Yeah. So it's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how we keep from going under. Ha 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 ha. Yeah. That's Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5.
Isn't that also hippie to the hip popping?
No, you're thinking of Sugar Hill Gang.
Okay. Yeah. So the message, Dr. Dre also has a beat called The Message. That's like a pretty popular song and beat.
Yes. And I think that is the same thing. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Or it's like a cut from that. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. So, old school rap obviously is what you're into.
Very old school.
Even listening to your rhymes today.
Yeah.
Clearly, you're influenced by old school.
Yeah.
Hip hop.
Definitely.
So who's the best rappers? Like who's your influence? So, like your influence.
Melly Mel was massive. I obviously was turned on to Eminem at a certain age, like before I got into like Melly Mel and Grandmaster Flash and all that. Like I think Eminem's
But you're not that much older than me. Why are you into all this older school hip hop?
It's honestly, it was just like the turn of the millennium. That's not fair. It was the turn of the millennium, man. The turn of the millennium, and they were just recapping all the best stuff of the 20th century. They were recapping all the stuff.
Oh, okay. And you were watching that.
And I was watching that, and I was just like, a child is born with no state of mind, blind to the ways of mankind. God is smiling on you, but he's frowning too, and only God knows what you'll go through. And I was just like,
and you're like, that's me.
That's it.
I was the child born to mankind.
Yeah.
And then you made a music video.
Exactly. I made
so your best, so your favorite rappers of all time, Melly Mel's in there.
Melly Mel's in there,
bro. He's not even in my top 20.
Yeah, well, it's not your era. It's not your, it's not what they always say. Rap what you know, rhyme what you know. Yeah. So I think it's like a case of it's what you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, Melly Mel. Who else? You got two other names for those three?
Two other names
that weren't born in the fucking 1930s.
Classified. I really like Classified.
I'm not a huge fan of Classified.
Okay.
Yo, if he ends up watching this, hey, I want you on the podcast. Love your music, bro. I think you're the best rapper in Canada. But I've never. You know what it is though?
Yeah.
I've always been drawn towards super hood rappers.
Okay.
Like 50 Cent got shot 9 times and stuff like that. Yeah. I'm like, I want to hear what he has to say.
Yeah.
Classified, nothing but respect, bro. Come on the podcast. Classified, I don't feel like there's anything from his perspective that I care to listen
That's
to.
fair. It's a different it's a different perspective. It's a rap what you know thing, right? Like he's not pretending to be hood.
Yeah.
No, and I'm not saying I'm not saying I'm not saying that it's
he's
just
not pretending to be hood like I am.
No, I was not implying that. Not implying that at all.
No, but I like authentic people for sure, and especially when it comes to music. I like that he's.
So you respect that. You respect that, but at the same time, it's maybe not what you fall into.
Like the "Oh Canada" song. "Oh Canada,"
like what fan of us?
As soon as that song came out, and someone was like, "Yo, you got to hear this," within 4 seconds of it playing, I'm like, "Shut it off." I'm like, I don't. No, dude, it's
not your
rap
jam.
song
it's
about
just
Canada.
not your jam.
And I'm
it's somebody else's jam. It's not your jam.
Yeah, which is fine. Yeah. Which is fine. That's what I mean. I'm not hating on him. Classified's awesome, but bro, like if you compare Classified, which is a Canadian icon rapper, with another Canadian icon rapper like Snack the Ripper. Okay, Snack the Ripper isn't hood, but he's at least it's more like for me, rap was always an escape.
Yeah.
And for those rappers, it's an escape for them as well. Yeah. So like when I'm writing, so even when I listen to Snack the Ripper, he just put out a song today called Suck My Balls. And even though it's a song called Suck My Balls and he's just fucking around, like he talks about some real stuff. And you know that he's been through his own like drug issues. He's been through his own. So I guess it's almost like, watching like crime shows and like crime documentaries and then being like, yo, watch this documentary about the guy from Blue's Clues. And it's just like, there's nothing that I really want to know.
Right.
Yeah. I'd rather watch a documentary about 50
What
Cent.
biography are you going to watch tonight? How am I going to spend this 60 minutes? How am I going to spend the 45 minutes of a record or of a mixtape? You know, how do I want to appropriate my time? Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no disrespect to Classified. I've just never really got into him, but there's a handful of rappers like that. Yeah. Who I never really got into, and you are so right. It's just not my jam. Yeah. It doesn't mean I would never shit on him as a rapper or as an MC or what he's accomplished. Same with other rappers. There's even like some local guys who are just like, I don't really mesh with what not that I don't like them or don't like their music and stuff like that. It's just not I like rapping about my struggle, and I like hearing about other people's struggle, and watching that dark struggle turn into something beautiful, which is art, which is you know what I mean.
And like as jokey as my song "Aiding and Abetting" seems, right, you know, as jokey as it seems, as like, you know, as yacht rap as it is, it's
bro, that's a good term to coin, yacht rap.
Yacht rap, it's yacht rap, but it's also a real story. You know, it's a story. That it's about a spiritual journey, you know, that I took, and it's somber. Like the day that we went into the studio at Treblecock Studios in Peterborough, me and S.J. Riley, or Sarah Jane Riley, we got in there, and she was like, like I just had a fight with somebody, and like I'm not feeling up to doing a comedy song. We were gonna do a comedy song, and like not even rap. And I was just like, well, I got this hip hop project I'm working on, and it's like, it's a little bit somber, you know, it's like minor key, Dorian.
You've used that word twice, somber. I don't know what that means.
Somber, like sad.
I could guess. Okay.
It's like kind of sad.
Somber, I think it means mellow.
That's mellow sadness. We'll somber, say mellow sadness.
It's like mellow with sadness. Okay.
Mellow with sadness.
That's what somber means.
So there's
we're learning today on the podcast, guys.
Learning. Yeah. mellow sadness, and it's but it's a special song, and the hook is just beautiful.
Yeah. She put her heart and soul in it. You can definitely tell when she's singing it.
She did that in one take.
Wow.
Yeah.
So where do you think your inspiration came for that song when it comes to like hip hop? Like in hip hop, would you be like, oh, this is because in my opinion, all art emulates other art.
Yes.
Like movies.
Yes. Okay, so it's hip hop. It's hip hop, and it harkens back to my love of old school, like real, like way back stuff. Yeah. Curtis Blow, right? Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5, Melly Mel, Cool Herc, Cool Mo D, like all those like real grimy, like South Bronx,
like all those rappers
way backs, like guys finding like abandoned car stereos, and then,
I wish I heard of them, man. I'm not into Wu-Tang either.
Oh no, yeah.
Sorry to cut you off, man, but like, it honestly kind of upsets me because I am a rap guy. I love rap. I love rap. I love about rap. I know more about Chicago gangs than I do about old school rap. Yeah. And it's not because I haven't gone like Tupac in and out, Biggie in and out, even Big L. I mean, even Big Pun. But when it goes to also even LL Cool J. Yeah. But that's about as old school as I get because I don't want to be inauthentic with my own love of hip hop. When I hear some stuff and I'm like, I'm not really a fan of this type of stuff. And it's
like, how do you want to spend that 45 minutes, that 60 minutes? Like, you know, if you've got like a groove, get into that groove and celebrate that.
And that's why I have a hot take, and everyone gets upset when I say it, which I already said it, but I'm just gonna say it again. The hot take is, Wu-Tang isn't the best.
I think they're nothing to fuck with.
Yo, I know, I get it. But I'm kind of like that with Star Wars as well.
Yeah,
Star Wars, I'm like,
oh.
Star Wars, I'm like, everybody loves it, but I'm like, it's just not for me. And same with Wu-Tang. I'm sorry.
I just never went down the Star Wars rabbit hole. While we're at it, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any other hot takes you got?
Any hot takes? The Holy Roman Empire was neither holy nor Roman.
Okay,
but
I can't get there with you, dude. I can't get there with you. Okay, so speaking of the Holy Roman Empire,
yeah,
because I don't even know what that is. It is.
Let's not get it. It's all good.
Let's get into your religious views.
Yes.
Your religious values.
Yes.
And where you stand.
Yes.
On whatever religion or none.
I am. I was raised Roman Catholic.
Okay.
So Christian.
Wait. Roman Catholic is Christian?
Yeah, it's a branch of Christianity. Yeah. There's Roman Catholicism and then there's Protestantism.
So Roman Catholicism isn't a branch of Catholicism?
It is, but Catholicism is a branch of Christianity.
So is it like half Christian, half Catholic?
No, but like some people say Christian to mean all Protestants, and then some people say Catholic just to mean like the old school Catholic Church.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
But I consider Catholicism.
So King James Bible.
King James Bible, and then there's like the
Catholics
Catholic
pray to other people other than Jesus or God.
Yeah,
There's
so
a
they
Roman
pray
Catholic?
to Mary. Yeah, they pray to like Jesus' mother.
But to me, the difference between Christianity and Catholicism, one of the big differences is Christianity. It's your relationship directly with God, and that's the only person you pray to.
That's my understanding. Yeah.
And with
Catholicism, it's the tripartite. So it's like it's the Trinity. So
Father,
it's
Son, and Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's what Christianity, but it's all one.
Yeah.
But
it's a matter of...
But Catholicism is Father, Son, Holy Spirit, Mother Mary, Saint Joseph.
Yeah, all the saints.
Yeah, there's all. Yeah, that's what. So Christianity is the 3.
Yeah.
Catholicism is the 10. But is there more?
Well, I have a friend who's a Roman Catholic priest actually. And he...
Ew, dude. Are you serious?
Is it really? No, he's straight up, awesome guy. Johnny, hello.
Hey, Johnny.
Hey, Johnny. How's it going? Yeah, he works and studies in Europe.
Nice.
And he lives in Rome. And he's just a good old boy from Douro, Ontario.
Yeah.
And great guy, spiritual advisor. All that is to say that I have a really... interesting concept of God.
Sorry. Okay, yeah. I was raised Christian.
Yes.
In a Christian household. Pretty strict.
Okay.
I went to like Bible camp every summer. My stepfather worked in the prison. I almost said worked in the church.
Yeah.
We'd had Bible study at my house. I couldn't watch The Simpsons.
Yeah.
My DMX CD, I had to hide underneath my pillow, and then my stepdad found it and snapped it.
Oh man.
And I cried.
Yeah. Jeez. That's tough.
Yeah,
that's tough.
I've been through a lot in my life too. That's why I rap about it.
Exactly.
Snap my CD. I hate my stepdad.
Yeah. I'm very glad that my stepdad did not snap my CD today. It was a good day.
Yeah. But but after the whole Christian upbringing, something, not only my real dad dying, but my stepfather going away from the church and pretty much being like, hey, I don't believe in Jesus or God anymore or the Bible.
Oh, wow.
I believe in this whole wacky theory.
Okay.
Like witches and warlocks and astro traveling in your mind.
Okay. So like astral projection.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, okay. So I don't believe anything that I grew up believing my whole life. So then I went on this 5-year-long journey. I learned about all sorts of religions. And I ended up super atheist.
Oh wow.
Richard Dawkins.
Yeah.
The Atheist Experience, where they do the phone calls and argue with people and stuff like that. So I was super atheist. And then I was so atheist to the point that I was so mad at God that I knew a girl who was attending Bible studies at Trent University, and I would go there with her and I would debate everybody in the class.
That's intense.
To the point that they would get so frustrated, and I would win every time. So I'm like, yeah. Well, there's no winning. And looking back, it was very childish of me, but I would do that, and to the point where they were like, hey, because they were trying to convert me, and I was trying to open all their eyes.
Yeah.
So gotcha. After being very atheist and very against God for so long, I now am very open to it.
Yeah.
This is mostly because I've noticed, I'm 36 now, I've kept my Christian values. I believe in a lot of what I was raised to believe in. So now I'm like, I identify with the Christians the most.
Yeah.
I think you should wait until you're married to have sex. I don't think you have to, but I think that's the better than not.
Fair.
Yeah. Like I believe it, all those little things I kind of believe. So I'm very open to having a relationship with the God again, and I have prayed here and there.
Yeah, I definitely believe in God. Yeah,
right,
absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's very naive to be like, I know for a fact there's a God. But that was me for so many years.
Yeah.
I was like, I know for a fact. I had all these little things that I would whip out, and it would shut any Christian down. And that's honestly what I wanted to do for a long time was just travel around, belittling and berating Christians.
Now, something I want to talk about is my current religious journey, my current religious beliefs. I do still believe in Catholicism and Christianity,
right?
But I have been Baha'i adjacent.
I've been fucking so high, bro.
No, I've been hanging out with members of the Baha'i faith.
Like bisexual?
Like a bisexual.
No, I don't know what Baha'i is.
That was the joke, Ted. Family Guy. No, the Baha'i faith is basically a convergence of 9 different apostles, or like 9 different prophets of God.
Yes.
And it's all the prophets of all of the major religions.
Right.
And they all believe that it's path to one God.
Right.
Yeah.
I've kind of thought that about all religions. Like, imagine if every religion, it's the same God. They're just different interpretations.
Yeah. So, for example, do you know Dwight Schrute from The Office?
Yes.
Yeah. So Rainn Wilson, the guy that plays Dwight Schrute, he has a podcast called Soul Boom.
Right. I saw him on a podcast.
Yeah. So he hosts a podcast.
Soul Boom.
Soul Boom. So that's based on the Baha'i faith. That's based on,
really?
And Dizzy Gillespie, the musician, also.
Maybe I'll look
Baha'i.
into that.
Yeah. Have a look. And like, they're very chill. Like, they don't really. They're not like super evangelical. Like, they welcome people to come have conversations with them, and it's more of a process of, like if you want to hang around, you hang around. Yeah.
One of my biggest, I think this will just be interesting. One of my biggest arguments against Christianity or Christians, maybe we can toss it back and forth here, was the whole Noah's Ark thing.
Okay.
So what I would say is, if somehow magically you get 2 of every single animal,
right?
We're obviously not talking about fish, right? Because they didn't get fish everywhere. So all the fish, none of the fish had to die. All of the fish got to survive. All of the whales and fish, right? That's kind of a weird loophole that if you randomly just happen to live in the sea, you're totally fine. That was a weird loophole. But not only that, getting 2 of, let's say, every animal, and then they say it's something like 40 days. Well, they've done the math on what a lion eats for 40 days.
Okay.
You're talking about tons and tons of meat.
Yeah.
Right?
Would the antelope be dead?
Well, not only would they eat each other, but even if they weren't able to eat each other, and they magically like made it so none of them would eat another one. No insect was eaten. That's another thing. The insects, they go. I don't know. Water creatures, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't really get into specifics. But then the amount. So they actually did the math on the amount of food. You would have to have more food than the weight of all of the animals combined. So it'd be more food on that ark than there would be animals.
Yeah. And then the ark would sink.
Yeah, and there's so much more. Even Mount Ararat, that's kind of where the ark landed, and even they've done this like geometry. How did the kangaroos and koalas make it across this ocean to get to Australia? But there's no dead koalas or kangaroos on the way there. Like no paths.
Right.
No. Also, how do they all reproduce? It's kind of
So
that was one thing that I would kind of tear apart. I'm sure I'm missing some points.
There's a lot of things biblically that could be easily torn apart.
Yeah.
Like
that's what I know. And I think that's what I.
But one interesting thing is that in the religion I was raised in Catholicism, I think one of the big distinctions between Catholicism and Protestant Christianity is that in Catholicism, a lot of it is seen as metaphor.
Right.
A lot of the scripture is seen as metaphor. So it's like sort of like, like maybe Jesus was magic.
Yeah.
Or maybe people were just marveling at how altruistic Jesus was, and miracles were more figurative than literal.
Right.
I don't, I'm sorry if I offended any Catholics, but
no, I think that's kind of where I'm at with things now too. Is that the Bible as a piece, like the King James Bible as a piece of literature itself, is amazing. I've actually read the Bible inside and out. You know what I mean? Like throughout my years of being a Christian, and stuff like that. So I can't really knock it for that. And not only that, I think I'm more open to like, not taking everything so literally in the Bible that like, oh, this means this. But there's stories like, Job, where he's like something like, if you love me, whatever. And no, he was talking with the devil. God was. Yeah. And he's like, he only loves you and serves you because you've given him all this cattle and a beautiful family and all this land. If you took all that away from him, he wouldn't love you. And to prove the point, he killed Job's family. God killed Job's family, took away all of his cattle, all of his food, took away his home, everything, and left him with nothing. And he was crying and had nothing. And then he goes, just to be like, told you so. Yeah. And to me, I'm like, that's morally fucked up.
Yeah, it's like that. I forgive me because of the Simpsons reference, but like, it's like, do we want a loving God or a vengeful God? Right. Yeah. And then, like, the idea of a vengeful God can be really hard for not just the religious, but for people in general to look at. Right. Right. God's vengeance, God's wrath.
But what kind of? It wasn't even a wrath. It was just like a bet with the devil. And Job just had to suffer because he just chose. Just like all the puppies that he drowned and stuff in the flood, all of the like, you realize God really could have snapped his fingers and just made them all disappear. He didn't need to drown them. Drowning is a horrific way to die, and he did that for millions of people. Yeah. Drown them, Like God, you could have chose anything. Yeah, you could have just poofed them. You could have done it, but you. Yeah. Anyway. So the Job thing is a big thing for me, and then in the Old Testament, which I've already been told so many times, the New Testament, that's after Jesus came. The Old Testament, that was the way of the times and blah blah blah. But like, no women in place of authority. You can beat your slaves as long as they don't die within 3 days. Brutal. That's actually in the Bible, and I've never beat my slave, let alone. So you gotta laugh. You gotta laugh when I make a joke about me having a slave.
Is there a thing in the Bible about no tattoos either?
Yeah, no tattoos. Bodies of temple. Tattoos. No cutting your beard.
Oh my goodness!
You're not supposed to. Yeah, you're not supposed to trim or cut your beard. Yeah. There's no seafood, no shellfish.
That's right. Yeah, in the Old Testament.
And in Leviticus, all this is in Leviticus.
Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah, it's wild, right? So I couldn't get over things like that, or the drowning of everybody and stuff. And it's not even like, oh, this just so happened and God just, maybe didn't stop it. No, he could have burned everyone to death. He could have drowned everyone to death. He could have poofed them to death. He could have, and it's not just evil people. That's what the Bible wants you to think. Everyone's evil. We're talking about children. We're talking about puppies and bunnies and things that people
sacrificial lambs.
Anyway,
and sacrificial lambs.
Yeah. Literally.
Yeah.
So okay. We've gone from a religion that we should talk about politics.
Let's go. What do you got?
I'm not a very political guy.
Okay, but what do you got? Just give me a hot button.
I usually side with the side that makes people more angry.
Okay.
Because it's funner that way.
Well, I don't know who gets more angry though. Who gets more angry?
Dude, they both. Yeah,
they both get angry. Both sides get very angry.
Well, yeah. COVID kind of divided a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I was always right in the middle. I'm unvaccinated.
Okay.
But not even, I was ready to get vaccinated. Yeah. And then my job said, actually, if you just rapid test, you don't have to get vaccinated. Okay. So I just opted out of the vaccination. Yeah. So I wouldn't say I did it for any political reason or anything like that.
It was just circumstances, right? It's like your job was like, you can come back.
Yeah. Well, I'm freaked out about getting needles, and then people are telling me like, oh, it's this, and then that whole side. So I'm like, okay, but even if that's all bullshit, what happens if they're right? I just rather not.
I don't know if it was like a clean divide on the whole COVID thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it was like right-wing people don't like the masking and all this stuff, and then like left-wing people like do like the masking and the needles and stuff.
It was kind of divided,
but it wasn't. There sort of. Yeah. But then there's like hippies who don't like vaccines, right?
Yes.
It's like the RFK Juniors of the world. Yes. Like RFK Jr. is in the Trump administration now, but RFK Jr. started off as a hardcore environmentalist.
Yeah.
And RFK Jr. also is like totally against needles and like totally and he started Kennedy family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So yeah, I would say my political, which is kind of weird because I'm in the rap world, but I'm also because my political leanings lean with my religious beliefs, which aren't really even there. So my political beliefs aren't really even there. Fair. Like, I believe babies should not be aborted and abortion is wrong because the Bible said. Okay. But then I also believe that people are free to choose what they want to do with
human circumstance
their own. And to tell you the truth, I don't give a fuck about some girl's fucking baby in her body. Yeah. Whether it lives or dies or she has a miscarriage or whatever, it has nothing to do with me. Is that a selfish way of being? Okay, where does that politically put me? I care about me, my family, my shit. Government, get the fuck away. Okay. You know what I mean? That's okay. But so then also, I'm so pro-government.
You're pro cops. Okay, come on.
I'm against cops because they put me in jail my whole life. But I'm also pro cops because I don't want people touching my shit.
Okay. You know what I mean? So protection of property, but also don't put me in jail.
Yeah, it's weird.
So it is. There are a lot of those dualities in politics.
I feel like drugs should be all legal.
Yeah, I think that all drugs should be decriminalized at the very least. Yeah.
But then I also think they should throw all the drug addicts in jail.
In jail? I don't think.
Well, no, I think it should.
I don't think jail the way it exists.
No. They should be rehabilitation.
Yeah, I think rehabilitation. Yeah. I think like an emphasis on like social work and like attacking the problem of policing through traditional policing and through people like social workers and counselors to assist people with getting better and not just throwing them in jail.
Like, I've worked at homeless shelters. I've worked at One Roof. I've worked at.
Oh, nice.
I've really, and not only that, I've sold drugs. So like, I've seen it from different perspectives, and like, dude, but you understand? Like, I'm walking downtown to the Pokemon store to my fucking, and there's a dude shooting up or smoking crack, and I literally want to be like, get the fuck out of my city. Like, fuck off.
Right.
I don't give a fuck if you're in jail or rehabilitated. I don't give a fuck what happens to you. You're not smoking crack around my kid. I don't care what your issues are, how you were raised, or what you've been through. I don't give a fuck what you've been through. I'm not putting my kid through that shit.
That's a dangerous thing.
So like it's weird. I kind of have two standpoints where I'm like, they do need to be rehabilitated. They do need, but at the same time, I don't really give a fuck. And it's like, they've made those choices. I chose not to ever do drugs. I chose to dabble in with like selling drugs and stuff like that, and I had to pay the price. I had to pay the consequence. So the consequence of starting to do drugs and being addicted to heroin or fentanyl or crack or whatever is you are no longer a part of society.
Right.
And I honestly think that might be a great deterrence to be like, yo, if I end up like one of those people, I won't be able to be around society. I won't be able to. And honestly, jail isn't a bad. It's an automatic detox for one, but now
it's not always done in the most humane way, though.
No,
like,
not at all. Right? Like, no, I've seen people go. And there's like, and I've been locked in cells with guys detoxing.
Yeah,
and it's not.
It's got to be terrifying. It's gonna be traumatic for you.
Oh yeah, especially when I'm 18 years old.
Yeah,
like bro, 18 years old. My first cellie ever was a guy coming off shit, and then He smeared blood on the wall and everything. And I found out he had Hep C and all this shit. And I was pretty terrified.
That's terrifying.
And but yeah, I've seen it from all angles. But it's
from all angles. I think ultimately you do want to help people in those shoes, but it's like if they've got that around your children, that's a very visceral thing.
Even
that's
if it was a family member, like I feel like even if my brother started doing dope and he started and he ended up like that, I would write him off. I'd be like, dude, you're a lost cause. You fucked up, dude. This is your life now. You're no longer a part of my life. I want nothing to do with you. And I have friends who like even dabble with stuff, and I'm not a fan of it. And I wouldn't say look down on them, but I'm disappointed in them knowing that they do that. And I'm like, because if that person ends up like downtown Peterborough shooting up in public, it's on them. I chose not to do drugs. I had a drinking problem. I've been in and out of jail. I chose to steal. I chose to lie. I chose to run from the police. I've chose a lot of bad things. And I had to, I didn't choose drugs specifically because it's obvious what drugs do to you. So if somebody chooses to do that, that's your road you chose. You don't have.
Not everyone has
my
the
tax
luxury,
dollars shouldn't.
Not everyone has the. Not everyone has the wherewithal to be able to avoid drug situations, though. Some people are, like born and bred into it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's a tough thing. It's coercion. There's human trafficking. There are things that happen to people. That can lead them down that path. So I don't think it's entirely about free will. I think that's like an important thing to have a good sense of personal responsibility, and I do agree with you in that sense.
Then am I not responsible for all the crimes I committed because I had a certain childhood and I was led down this path? No, I take full responsibility. You do, and I think taking the responsibility away from them does harm.
I don't think it's a blanket statement, though. I don't.
Right.
No.
You know what I mean? Nothing. I don't think anything is.
Yeah.
Like white people wear plaid. It's not. It's you know what I mean. Like
so
it's
does
not,
Ice Cube, man.
That's the point I'm making. That's the point I'm making. Is that nothing is absolute.
Yeah.
So if I say I feel like drug addicts kind of chose their, and to tell you the truth, I might be offending a lot of people by saying this. Hey. I personally know people who are drug addicts and stuff like that, and so I'm sure there's people who have family members who are drug addicts.
One thing I will say, and I appreciate you for being straight ahead and honest about all of this stuff, because I'm not going to think any less of you for it, because opinions are important. Opinions are important to share.
And like I said,
it's not good to be in a silo.
I can change it at any point.
It's not good to be, and I'll tell you this, and this is like going back to my religious views. I think it's important to deconstruct silos and not be stuck. Think of a grain silo, right? Yeah. And it's like all like quinoa, or it's like all like barley. You don't want to just be mixing with people who, say the same thing in that echo chamber all the time. It's important to get out and have those conversations with people you might not agree with, because I still 100% respect you, and I might not totally agree with you on that point about drug addiction and self-control and all those things. Go ahead.
Can we talk about any other type of addiction then? Other than drug addiction, we can talk about cigarette addiction,
sure,
gambling addiction. So is that the fault of the gambler, or is it just
so I think
I'm on the standpoint that
I think that falling into it can be in the first place.
Yeah.
But I think that when a person gets trapped, and we're all allowed to make mistakes. But when a person gets trapped in that situation, and you're surrounded by slot machines and bells and whistles and stuff like that, and you've already got
and then
that,
now you owe people money and you have to win.
You have to win so you can get the money to the people, and then you're in there, and that's the only way you can make that money.
But I think the best way to cure that is for him to take 100% responsibility of where he's at and getting himself out.
Right. And getting out.
Not that he doesn't need help or help from people.
Right. And I think that's.
But having that crutch to be like, I'm a drug addict because of my upbringing. It's not my fault. It's everyone else's fault. It's the whole world's fault. It's not my fault. And
personal responsibility is an important factor. Personal responsibility is a massive factor, and I do agree with you on that. Like
with any addiction, phone addiction, gambling, cigarettes, everything. Anyway,
it's personal responsibility is a massive thing, but I think that sometimes there needs to be interventions. You know what I mean?
Yes. Oh, of course.
And interventions are important. Interventions are important for people who know and love people who are suffering from these things.
Yeah.
to be able to come in and say you're not just hurting yourself, you're hurting a lot of people.
I'm so with you on. Remember what I said to you? I was like, I could have an opinion and have a conversation and change my opinion. Like I'm really malleable when it comes to that. I'm not stuck where I'm just like, this is it. There's no other way. Like I'm very open. But. And like maybe I was a little harsh to be like, oh, just fucking throw them all in jail. But if you do throw them in jail and they detox, they're no longer addicted to that anymore. They come out. Sure, what about their friends and what about the neighborhood they live in? But take responsibility just because you live in that neighborhood.
You mentioned tax dollars. One thing that I will say about tax dollars and things like rehabilitation, hospital, this sort of thing, it actually is cheaper to keep a person in a hospital than it is to put them in a public jail.
Then we should do that. Not only that, we need to not put like $7 million towards a new canoe museum that no one gives a fuck about, and maybe open up a rehab facility.
There is a rehab facility that I actually used to work in this particular building. I can't disclose where it is, but there is a rehab facility that is supposed to open. In Peterborough,
we need to do that. It's not going to be big enough, but it won't be big enough. It won't be.
No. And these things
there's
never
not even
are,
enough. There's not even enough apartments for everybody in Peterborough.
No, I know.
Let alone fucking
rehabs.
Yeah. Dude, so what? Where would you? I think I'm middle leaning right. I don't know much about politics. I really don't. I just have opinions.
I'd say I'm center left.
Center left. So, that's kind of what I thought about you. That you're more. You care about left. People a little bit more.
Like people who aren't my family. I do have like a certain bit of a bleeding heart, but at the same time, I do care very much about my family.
I found I found that with people on the left. So I have a brother who's super left. I don't know. Maybe he's not. That's just where I've categorized him. And then I have a mother who's super right. And that's how I know I'm in the middle, because I don't agree with everything my mom says. I don't agree with everything my brother says. I agree back and forth. I'm like, yes to that, no to that. Yes to that, but no to that.
I'll take this element, that element.
Exactly. So, but I would say I'm leaning right. Oh yeah. So I people who are left, I don't even know what that means. But people who are left, I find it's to categorize it. It's easy to just be like, it's more like empathy for everyone and everything. And right is more
family
fuck
unit.
Everyone and everything. This is about
not necessarily fuck everyone and everything, but
no,
it's more like it's more it's more about like the family. It's more about the family. It's about
that's how you get into the whole racist stuff, because they're like all the whites, you know what I mean? But that's why the right.
I'm not accusing any particular right-wing people of being racist.
But if you lean right, and then you keep going right, and you go far right.
Far right's dangerous. Far right's dangerous, right, and I think the far left can be very dangerous as well.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why I think the right turns into racism, like at the far end. And then because it's like far left, my family, my community.
The hard far left
America,
is not even about property ownership. Like you can't even own property on the hard left. Like on the hard left, like it's communism essentially, right? So it's like that's a dangerous slope as well, because then you turn into oppression of people through different means. Right. So I think it's important to be moderate in a lot of ways.
So if you're a fucking lefty,
well, what kind of lefty though?
I don't know. I'm just playing. But if you're a fucking lefty, then what about jokes? What about jokes?
Oh, I'll tell jokes.
A racist joke?
Well, it depends.
On a public podcast?
A racist joke in a public podcast, a racist joke in general, I don't think so. But at the same time, what I would do...
Jokes about... In my opinion...
I think we could joke about racism.
Yeah.
I think that's something that can be joked about.
Can you joke about race?
It's important. What I believe in is satire. And one thing that's important in satire is you don't punch down.
That's because that's what I always say about I will make race jokes, but I won't. If you're making a joke about somebody's skin color, meaning that they're lower or less or whatever, but when it comes to the stereotypes, like Asian people can't drive, black people are good at basketball, white people.
I think gentle ribbing between friends is like totally cool.
But even me saying that, am I allowed to even say that? Like, am I allowed to say that? Like, are we allowed to say stereotypes? Because I had this conversation with somebody, because I was like, I said something, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, because black people are really athletic. And they're like, whoa, you can't say that.
Right.
And I was like, Well, NFL, NBA. I'm like,
Right.
how can you say that
Hockey
black people are they're way more athletic than white people. But they were like, and my friend was like, you can't talk about this.
Yeah, it's probably like, best not to like die on the hill when it comes to that stuff. Well, but I think if you're in a multiracial group of people or a multi-language group of people,
and
you
notice
like
the black guy has more rhythm, and
you have that conversation. You
white
make
people
a gentle
can't dance.
joke about it. Like, it's white people can't dance, and especially when you come from that way of like self-deprecation, like, to your own group.
Yeah,
it's totally cool. Like, I will tell you right now that I was in Ireland on Ren's Day. I'm Irish. I got Irish extraction. I'm Irish background, and I gotta tell you, everybody was drunk. Everybody was drunk.
Yeah, Yeah.
And the guys that came to break things up, like from the fighting that was going on, the guys that came to break things up, they're driving their Garda car and they get there and they're like, "Why'd you call me in from Ballylanders? I was having dinner with my family." And it's like, what are you doing, man? This is like the most stereotypical Irish situation.
That was a really good accent.
Thank you.
I'm gonna list off some celebrities. And I want to hear your best impressions.
Okay, let's go.
I've heard that you have some impressions.
All right.
I heard one earlier, Eddie Murphy one.
Yeah.
That was not too bad.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, I got the list right here. Let's get this. Okay. First off, we're going to start with... these are going to go... Okay, we'll start with Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Sanders. What you have to understand is that Mr. Kolter likes to take 1% milk with 99% coffee. If you have 1% milk and 99% coffee, it's a good time for Mr. Kolter.
Okay, nice, man. That was not bad at all. Jimmy Fallon.
Hey, how's it going? So the Roots were just playing a song as I got in here, and you know what I thought? I thought that I hate Canada. Boo! That's what I got.
Yeah, nice. No, it was a very gay Jimmy Fallon. I guess he does kind of sound gay. Peter Griffin. Can you do a Peter Griffin? Okay, that's it. Barack Obama.
Look, the trade deficit that was inherited from President Bush was clearly not under our purview, but all I can say that now, yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Okay, that was actually a good one.
Thank you.
Well, they're all good, but
all right.
That was. Yo, do you got a Jim Carrey?
Jim Carrey. What era of Jim Carrey? Old school Jim Carrey, new Jim Carrey?
I would definitely old school. What are you gonna do, Dr. Robotnik? I would say Ace Ventura Mask.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. I like it a lot.
Remember that second-hand embarrassment I was talking about earlier? Okay, Adam Sandler.
Okay, so there's 3 Adam Sandlers. Okay, this is the first Adam Sandler.
Do that.
And then there's shut up. And then there's the most poignant Adam Sandler, the most serious romantic Adam Sandler, and it goes a little bit something like this. Catherine, I love you, and I think we should be together. That's it.
Okay, man. Yo, there's 2 more. Okay?
Okay.
I'm hiding them from you, so I don't
Okay, I don't see them.
Okay, Russell Brand.
Okay, so here's the sticky wicket. Like, what you want to do is you say, like, why are they blaming President Trump for everything? Like, why are you blaming President Trump and just not running around and doing your sacred breath and things like, they can get really, really close to Jesus. That's a sticky wicket.
Yo, so the last one.
All right.
Lukeman.
Okay.
So there's 2 Lukemans. There's the raspy voice, I lost my voice Lukeman, and then there's the regular
standard Lukeman. Okay. What up, it's your boy Lukeman. I'm here with Koty Kolter on this podcast, and like I was rapping last night, and I gotta say, like, God is good. God is good.
Yeah, you gotta throw God in there. Yeah. All right, brother, we did it, man.
Yeah, man.
We did it, bro.
All right, solid.
Peace.